we did mere $20,000 a month. But because of that craft, because of that attention to detail, I was able to be acquired. Talent acquisition for $10 million.
This is Leo. He is a founder who built a $20,000 per month AI business and managed to be acquired for $10 million. But the best part is that he basically went against all rules. His community secret is all what any solopreneur needs to launch a highly profitable business now. In this interview, you will learn how to build profitable SaaS against all rules and dogmas, how to get customers from your communities, and how to make a 10 million exit without actually making an exit. Let's go.
Hey everyone, my name is Leo Bassam, the founder and CEO of Plutio, the all-in-one business management platform designed specifically for freelancers. We currently at 200,000 or so ARR.
See what he said? 200k ARR after 10 years. Most people would say that's a failure, but here's the thing. He was acquired for 10 million. But not for the business, for himself. Leo didn't sell Plutio as an asset. He sold his experience, his skills, his 10 years of craft. This is the game nobody talks about. You're not just building a product, you're building your value as an asset. Business value, 200k ARR. Your value, 10 million. See the difference? When you build with craft, with attention to detail, with obsession, you become more valuable than the thing you built. That's a different game entirely. Let's break down how he did it. Okay, Leo, welcome to the channel. Could you tell us just a little bit more about your story and how all these things started?
I have never ever focused on a business. I've been crafting this platform for the last decade, pretty much. And it's not necessarily the right thing to do because in 10 years, you could have done a lot in a sense. You could have scaled the business to $1 billion company because it's totally possible. For what we actually have built, it is more than possible and easier than you think to make it $1 billion company. But I didn't do it. I didn't do it because I was in cave mode. I was in a bubble for so long, just building. And I wasn't balancing building with growth, with scale, with basically acquisition, customer acquisition, right? Looking back at it, it's kind of crazy because at the same time, like I want to say, hey, balance it, focus on growth, focus also on, acquiring customers, not just building the thing. Because even if you build the best platform in the entire universe and no one knows about it, well, no one knows about it, right?
Stop. Leo fell into the classic trap, the builder's trap. 10 years building, perfect product, cave mode. This kills 90% of startups. But here's what saved him. Year one, he started talking to investors, other founders, customers, community, and that changed everything. Listen, crafting a perfect product is important, but only if there are people who can appreciate it. Over-engineering without networking, you die alone with perfect code. Over-engineering with networking, someone sees the value. Someone wants to acquire you. The craft was his asset, but the network made it sellable. You can build in a cave, but you need to come out before you suffocate. Leo came out just in time. Continue.
I was going to say balance both, but at the same time, it's that attention to detail. It's that time that we took to craft such an incredible experience, user experience, incredible platform that basically allowed us to be acquired for $10 million, right? So it's that attention to detail. It's that love and passion to crafting something that is nowadays very rare to find. People don't craft these things anymore, especially the bigger companies that solve the bigger problem. They just shove everything in your face and call it a day, right? They don't craft, they don't think through the experience. So you can feel there is a life behind this product. And I think that's what ultimately made us sell it for $10 million. So at the same time, now looking back at all of this and trying to realize it and kind of reflect on it, it works either way, whether you want to focus on completely building and completely balancing it too, balancing both. It doesn't necessarily matter, but what really truly matters is making sure that you are around the right people. You're connected to people. There are people in your circle who actually know what you're building as well. You can't be in cave mode, right? So no matter what path you're trying to take, make sure there are still people that know you're building it. We've been crafting Plutio for 10 years and we did mere $20,000 a month. But because of that craft, because of that attention to detail, I was able to be acquired, talent acquisition for $10 million, right? So you don't necessarily need to sell your business, but that skills and that experience that you build through building a business for so long, that is valuable as well. So you have two valuable things in front of you here, your entity and your experience and skill. When you basically get an offer for an acquisition, when you get an acquisition offer, don't just think about selling only your business. There's two things that you can potentially sell here. You can potentially keep the business and sell yourself in that sense, or sell the business and keep yourself, or sell both. You see what I'm saying? So just know that it's not one or the other in a way all the time.
Let's talk about Plutio. How did you find your startup idea?
So that's exactly how it started, is struggling to actually build and grow a freelance business myself. Everything around me was designed for teams. Monday, Asana, Basecamp, Trello, they had teams engraved in their slogans. There wasn't anything really designed for the freelancer. And freelancers were all over the place. It wasn't just a trend. It was on the growth trajectory, if that makes sense. So there wasn't anything for them. And that's when I set myself on a mission. I made it my life's purpose to serve the freelance community.
Nice, great. And how did you manage to validate your idea to make sure that the freelancers, it's your audience who needs your product?
The best ideas, I believe, are good solutions to problems that you feel firsthand. Whatever you're doing right now, there must be something that isn't completely optimal, that can be improved, that can be done better. And so for me, as a freelancer, I truly feel that pain of having to juggle all these different apps, paying subscriptions for all these different apps, and I was forced to use apps that wasn't even designed for us. It was designed for teams and enterprises. And because of that, I was able to basically come about creating Plutio in a way that serves, the freelancer community, serves me and solves my problem, which is a problem that millions of other people also have.
Nice, great. So basically, we can say that you managed to solve your problem first, and then you decided to share this experience to others, right?
Exactly. And one of the incredible realization is that there's 8, maybe now 9 billion people in the world. If you have a problem, you're not the only one who has that problem. The chances are there's hundreds of thousands of other people who also have that problem. So if there is a problem and you know a solution for it and you can fix it, you can potentially have customers also asking for that solution, right? So just bear that in mind. No problem is ever small or ever just for you.
Nice, great, love that. And have you managed to build Plutio by yourself, or you have other co-founders, or you hired freelancers? Tell me about that.
Yeah, it's crazy. I remember, so from day one, I didn't want to mishmash Plutio, because Plutio, the essence of Plutio, the core of Plutio is having everything in one place. Your projects, contracts, invoices, proposals, everything in one place, right? That is an ambitious project, and you can't just build it overnight. And there are some people who mishmash it kind of thing, they put everything together. And maybe if you think about it, Zoho is a great example. Zoho has everything you can think of, but try and use these apps, they feel disconnected. It's still different apps, different experiences. It's not coherent. It doesn't speak like one, if that makes sense. And I realized from day one that to solve this problem, especially later on, is that it's not about just having everything in one place, but making sure that everything actually talks like one. Everything is deeply integrated and have incredible user experience that feels consistent and smooth, right? So because of that, I basically crafted the interface of Plutio, and that's how I started. I did not use a Bootstrap or anything like that. I created my own library of foundation, CSS and all that kind of stuff. I remember creating the templates, the buttons, and I still have pictures of these. I'll share them with you so you can show them as well if you can. But that's how it started. I started to learn how to code, and I built my first CSS library, if you will. And then I started building Plutio from there. And I tried to show it to some investors, but obviously no one believed in all-in-one app back then, because all the investors were like, hey, you got to focus. Build an invoicing system and call it a day, or build a project management system and call it a day. But that wasn't where my head's at, because the future wasn't there. That wasn't that, right? But yeah, I've learned how to code, and I built the very first part myself, the front end mostly. And I found this incredible guy called Dovidas, which has been with me ever since. And he basically took over the back end. And to afford Dovidas part-time nonetheless, and he wasn't charging a lot of money because he loved the idea and he wanted to be part of it, I had my design studio back in the day. That's one job. I was doing Airbnb, my second. And third, I was full-time basis consultant at a paddle company in London, which is a Stripe competitor at the time. So yeah, I was working 3-4 different type of jobs to try and fund part-time backend developer, because I couldn't do that part. I'm more of a creative person, but even nonetheless, I was able to learn a bit to be able to change some stuff.
Nice, great, love that. And in terms of MVP, could you tell me and the audience just a bit more? Have you created some kind of a basic product with basic functions, or you decided to, as you mentioned, create a full product? So tell us this story, how this happened.
I did want to build an MVP, but it never went to plan. I actually remember hiring an agency to do that first and miserably failed. And I had to take my money through the courts, and it's a long story. But anyway, so I remember when we launched Plutio MVP, the very first of Plutio, we actually launched it with AppSumo in 2017. And it was nothing but a simple task management system that actually barely worked as well. Yet we made $250,000 with AppSumo during that launch. And people ask me, how did you do that with an MVP that barely worked? Well, it isn't about the product necessarily, because I did not sell them the product then. I sold them the product's vision and what it can be. And people believed in that and they rallied behind that, right? And look at us now. Klutch is one of the most powerful platforms that you can use to run your entire business.
Great, great, love that. Okay, and let's talk just a little bit more about AppSumo, because as you mentioned, you have a really great and successful launch. Could you maybe share some kind of like insights or cheat codes for our audience that they can also use to make such powerful launches?
Well, the thing is, there is no cheat code about AppSumo. One of the things people need to realize about AppSumo is that it's a community. And what is a community? It's basically a circle of people, right? These people are looking for other people who can take them on a journey, if you will. Does that make sense to you? So if you know how to communicate with people, you'll be able to do well on AppSumo. You don't go to AppSumo, launch an app, and then disappear. It doesn't work like that, right? You have to be passionate. You have to actually want to solve a problem. You have to be serious about it and dedicated to it, right? Because they will feel that as well. So it is built for people who want to connect with people in that sense, and we want to solve a problem to the larger audience. So it is. I don't want to call it a people game in a way, because it's not really a game, but it's a community. You have to be part of a community, and it's basically a foundation that allows you to do that, right? So it depends on how you look at it, honestly, and where you're coming from.
He made 250K with a broken MVP. But here's what most people miss. Your perfectionism doesn't live in the present. It lives in the future. Let me explain. The future selling method. Instead of, here's my imperfect MVP, sorry, it's broken. Do this, do this. Here is where we are going. Join the journey. Leo didn't sell what he had. He sold what he will have through live workshops, product demos, vision presentations, community calls. He showed people the future, and people paid for the future, not the present. Your perfectionism? Channel it into the vision, not into delaying the launch. Show people the perfect product that exists in your mind. Then build it with them, using their money, getting their feedback. Stop waiting for perfect MVP. Start selling perfect vision. The MVP is just to prove you're serious. The vision is what they're buying. So you manage to land every customer by yourself by creating and communicating with this community, or you created some kind of like a tutorial how they will land into your system. How was this the first interaction between you and the customer?
I wish I can show you the first video. I enlisted it from YouTube. I looked crazy, like Einstein basically. The hair was like all over the place, but I looked back at it, and it just shows the passion. And that passion came across, right? And people seen that, people felt that, and they wanted to be part of that. So it's not just me creating a video or an article of how to use it and then shove it over their faces. It wasn't like that. It was more about, hey guys, I'm building the future here. Come over, let's do a workshop together. Let's go live. I'm going to go live. I'm going to show you everything that we are going to be building over the next few years. And I want you to be part of this because it will shape the future. See, it's about the narrative, about storytelling. People love stories, and I'm not saying fake the story. No, tell them the story. Tell them where you want to go. Try and sell them that vision that's in your head, right? They will feel that passion. They will feel that drive, and they will rally behind you. That's how you utilize AppSumo, right? And that's what I did. From day one, from the launch, we did live workshops. I did videos. I was one-on-one communicating with people. I was doing like group workshops and just showing them and talking to them, answering their questions live. And I think that made all the difference for us, honestly. That basically made our launch incredibly successful.
In terms of community and communication, could you maybe share some kind of like life hacks and cheat codes, how to get these like a very valuable connections with whom you can make a business in the future or sell your business, make an exit and things like that? How to find those people?
It's a very good question. It's interesting because the way I find these people is in a way they also find me. Like we find each other somehow, it's just, I am me being me. For so long, back in the day, I was told to be someone else, to dress differently and do things differently, talk differently. And like, I remember even at some point I was in Dubai and we released a feature and I was on the beach and I was wearing tank top and I recorded a product update. It's like, hey guys, we have this new feature. You've been asking for it for a long time and so on. There was a lot of positivity there because me being me, just, me being me basically. And there was comments about, hey, it's not professional to wear, tank tops. And from that moment, it was like, okay, people are going to control, like if you want to serve these people, they're going to control you in a way. And I nearly kind of pulled into that direction where I'll be controlled with what they say. But remember, you cannot satisfy everyone. That's number one. And everyone wants to basically see you in a different way, right? So I eventually pulled back from that completely and just started to be me, like the crazy Leo that is, right? And that energy attracted people. That energy made people actually feel safe and comfortable around me because I'm not hiding a different person behind there. It's just who I am, right? And that creates basically that trust, which is really hard to find nowadays, honestly. Just be you, be freaking you. And honestly, this guy, Mark, I think his name is on Twitter. I don't know his full name. He creates apps all the time. He's crazy, you know? And I love that. I love that. I follow him because of that, because of his genuine personality, not because how many apps he's built. You see what I'm saying? I don't even know how many apps he's built, but I know he's a crazy person who builds apps, and I would love to be connected with him and follow his journey.
Okay, this is the most underestimated asset. Watching successful people, not for jealousy, not for compression, for motivation, seeing it's possible, connection, reaching out to them, learning, studying their patterns. And here's the secret. Most of them will respond. Leo said, I follow Mark Lowe because of his personality. Not his apps, not his revenue, his energy. This is how you build a network in 2026. Step 1. Find 10 people doing what you want. Twitter, not LinkedIn. LinkedIn is dead. Step 2. Engage with their connect daily. Thoughtful replies, not great post. Step 3. DM them after 2 weeks. Hey, love your journey. Can I ask you 2 questions? Step 4. Most say no, some say yes. Those who say yes, your network. Step 5. Meet them in real life when it's possible. Leo meets Twitter friends in Bangkok. Circle expanded from there. Will everyone respond? No. Will many respond? Yes. Successful people are more open than you think. They remember being where you are. Your network is your net worth. But your network doesn't start in coffee shops. It starts on Twitter. Right now. Today. Go.
Be out there, you know. You don't need to go to bars or coffee shops and things like that to meet people necessarily. They're all over Twitter nowadays. You know, you can connect with people, engage with them there. And honestly, a lot of the friends that I know today are from Twitter. You know, I remember this very, very, very well. I didn't go to a coffee shop and meet them. I actually connected with them on Twitter, and then we ended up going to Bangkok and we co-worked together. And from that co-working session, the circle just expanded. And now I know friends personally from all around the world. You know what I'm saying? Just, you know, so if you don't feel comfortable going to coffee shops and things like that, Twitter, go on Twitter and engage with people.
Let's talk a little bit more about boring things such as like a tech stack. Could you tell me just a bit more about your app, tech stack, and all third-party technologies that you used?
My app runs on the internet. You need a Wi-Fi connection to access it, and that's all I know.
Nice. Perfect answer. For everyone spending 6 months choosing a tech stack, Leo stack, ancient. Leo result, 10 million acquisition. See the pattern? Tech stack doesn't matter. Problem solved matters. Wrong questions, react or view. What architecture? How to scale to 1 million user? Right question. Who will pay? How much? Can I pre-sell this? If you have 0 customers, debating tech stack, sophisticated procrastination. Pick any stack, start building, get 1 customer, then iterate. You can change this stack later. You can't change wasted time. Continue.
Our stack, I mean, MongoDB, React. I actually remember asking a friend of mine, he's a genius, by the way. I gave him access to the code to see if he can help us with a couple of things. And just to look at his face, like, what is this? This is ancient. And I'm like, and doesn't matter. It works. I'm not going to rebuild it because I want to make money from it now. It's not about rebuilding it. I've been building it for 10 years. Of course, it's going to be ancient, but it works, right? So we have been building this for a long time. And there's a lot of technologies that we're using that are from a while back. But it functions incredibly well and reliably in that sense. Meteor, React, MongoDB, and now we're trying to basically move off all these different tools, like for support and for churn and things like that, and actually automate the whole process on N8N or something along these lines. But yeah, our stack is not actually that complicated.
Nice, love that. Okay, and let's talk just a little bit more about funny moments, because every business founder have those stories that happened with them during their business journey. Could you share something like from your business experience and what lessons you learned?
One of the craziest things that I don't know how to phrase this. My God,
nobody cares. This will definitely go live.
funniest things that happened to us building Plutio is that I remember waking up one day and then I found $1 million in our Stripe account. And I'm like, what? Did we just like scale like crazy overnight? I like messaged Dovidas, which was my lead developer at the time. Like, Dovidas, we have $1 million in the account. And he looks it up. And man, basically, and I went to support, by the way, to my support tool. I was using Chris, and it was flooded. And I was like, people asking like, hey, clients paid me, but the money hasn't come through. And apparently it went somewhere else. I'm like, shit. So somehow we deployed an update to Stripe Connect, that basically brings the money into our account and not send it to the client's account. So because obviously people use Plutio to create invoices and get paid from their customers. So when they got paid, it came all to our account instead of being distributed to their account. So we ended up basically ranking up $1 million, but we had to refund everybody and fix that batch up super quick. But that was crazy, man. We thought we were going to be millionaires.
Nice.
We're millionaires overnight, but no, it didn't happen. It was a mistake, and some people hated us for a bit, but hey, it's part of the journey.
Nice, love that. Okay, and let's talk just a little bit more about your business expenditures. So, like, could you share some numbers, ROI, and these kind of things?
Frankly speaking, I don't know. See, one of the things that you're probably going to be surprised to hear is that I have something called dyslexia or something. It's not dyslexia. It's not dyslexia. It's another one for numbers. So I just can't do numbers. I can't do math. I can't do finance. And yet I'm running a business. Yes, I probably need somebody to come in at this point to help me make sure the business is always healthy and stable in terms of money. But for me, I've noticed like the more you spend, the more you give. And I'm not only talking about spending it on a product, but the more you give people, the more you actually, spend, it feels like there's abundance, right? And the more money comes back. The more I spend, the more money comes back. It's crazy. And yes, you get these times where you go into a dip, but I promise you, every time this happens, you get out of the dip. It's a matter of time because you get out of it, and you get out of it 10 times better and wealthier, if that makes sense. Yeah. So I just went with my gut feeling ever since. And that is not necessarily the right way to do it, because I've done mistakes. Like, I've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars, man, on the wrong stuff. Like, I hired people to do marketing, and we literally spent $300,000 in a couple of months on people to do marketing. And I ended up completely letting them not actually do their job because I was so basically pulled into working. I was just so zoned into building the product, into coding the product, right? So I ended up not listening to them and just building as opposed to focusing on growth. So there's a lot of things that I did wrong in terms of like the time I spent the money or where I spent the money. These are hopefully learnings that I'm going to take with me over the next phase, but you kind of have to go through it yourself to really feel it. Like when you spend $300,000 and you look back, it's like, shit, what did I just do? I lost $300,000. This is a seed fund, like seed investment. You know what I'm saying? Not everyone can have it. So that pain, that realization is going to build you up. So next time you have a 300,000, maybe even 700,000, you will know how to use it. You see what I'm saying? So now I spent a lot of money over the last couple of years, and I mean a lot of money, and I'm not talking hundreds of thousands. And I feel shit, but I know now what's going to happen. And after the AppSumo deal, I'm going to use that money properly and mindfully, if that makes sense.
How did you manage to get the exit in your business?
I've learned this the hard way, honestly. But the more you chase something, the more it runs away from you, And the more you just let it happen, it will just come. And we all want things, and we want them right now. But that's what's pushing them away from happening right now. And it's just making you depressed and making you feel like it's not working and it's not going to happen. But actually, it's all about just believing in what you're doing, believing in what you're building, and being in the right environment. Everything's going to happen when it needs to happen, right? Just don't push for it, let it happen. And having that mindset alone is going to just basically make you happier as a person and make things just come when they need to come, right? So you don't have to fight for them necessarily. You don't have to feel like you're fighting for everything. And the way I've kind of realized this, like if you believe in something, you build it. You build a product, you build a software, you build a service, whatever you're trying to sell or you build it and show its value to the world. Don't sell it. Don't go into if you, for example, you want to raise money, don't go to investors and be like, hey, I have an amazing idea, buy it. No, connect with these investors, right? Just like, hey, I want to connect with you. I've seen the investments that you've done before, and they're along the lines of my industry, of my, where I'm going to be in that sense. And I'd love to connect with you, connect with them, and just showcase what you're working on. vlog about what you're working on, vlog about the issues that the hurdles that you've just came through or like found a way through, right? And you build trust that way. People start to follow your journey. And these are people, I'm talking about investors here, or potential business partners, or potential businesses or competitors who might end up buying you. You see what I'm saying? So first step is connect with the people that you want to be around, the people that you want to impress, the people that you want to have as investors, the people that you want to have as buyers. Connect with them, not with the intention to sell, not with the intention to raise, but with the intention to connect and showcase what you are working on, And through that, believe it or not, when it meant to happen, it will happen. They will connect. It's like, I love what you've been building. I've seen your journey. I'd like to invest. I love what you're building. I've seen your journey. I think we should unite. Let's acquire you. You see what I'm saying? That comes down to just show the world, but don't force it on everyone's throat. And that's going to make a huge difference for you moving forward.
How did you manage to find those people who decided to acquire your business?
Again, online. There's a lot of people that I spoke to, I've never met in person. And it's all about you connecting online. Now it's easier than ever. You go on Twitter, you go on LinkedIn, believe it or not, Discord, believe it or not. There are people all over the place. You just need to look, you need to find them. There are communities, there are forums all over. They're still a thing, to be honest. You want a co-founder, you want a technical co-founder, maybe there's whatever stack you're building right now, for instance, there's a forum for React, forum for Electron, forum for Meteor. You go there and you find the best developers, because the best developers will be part of these communities. You see what I'm saying? And they'll be able to help basically, build your app or your service. I guess what I'm saying is that you want ice cream, you go to the ice cream van. You want groceries, you go to the grocery store. You want pizza, you go to the pizzeria. So how do you find these people? Well, you know where they are. Just go and start connecting with them there. There's LinkedIn, there's Twitter. You don't need to overcomplicate it. You will find them. Because honestly speaking, like, it's that easy. You know where they are. If they're investors, most likely LinkedIn and Twitter. And they're everywhere right now.
Okay, let's synthesize what Leo showed to us. Build your value, not just product. 10 years craft means 10 million personal value. Cave mode plus networking means survival. Build alone, but connect often. Craft matters only if networks sees it. Sell the future, not the present. Vision is more important than MVP. Workshops plus webinars sell tomorrow, not today. Money comes before perfect product. Network on Twitter, not LinkedIn. Follow for energy, not metrics. DM, engage, meet people in real life. Circle expands exponentially. Tech stack, it's just an excuse. Ancient stack got 10 million. Perfect architecture, got 0. Customers don't care about your code. But here's what ties it all together. Leo, your final advice?
The most business advice, and it's not actually directly connected to business, is that connect and surround yourself with the right energies, with the right people. Honestly, that's the most powerful thing existed ever. Because we are easily influenced by who's around us, And if they're driven, if they're building, if they're innovating, you will just, before you know it, without you even realizing it, you will start building, innovating. You want to start getting things done. You know what I'm saying? But if you surround yourself with people who drink and go partying or whatever, you're going to be like that. It's known. Everyone knows this. But actually do it. Like, actually force yourself to be around the people that you actually want to be like. And that is honestly the best business advice that is indirect to the business, but will contribute towards that business incredibly much, that I would give to anybody.
See? Right people, right energy. This isn't networking advice. This is the foundation. Question for you. Who's in your circle right now? Go to Twitter. Unfollow 5 people who drain your energy. Follow 5 builders in your space. Reply to their last 3 posts. Thoughtfully. DM 1 person. Love your work. Can I ask you 2 questions? Deadline. Today, before sleep. Leo spent 10 years building value. You can spend 10 minutes building your network. Both compound. Let's go.